Hello and a very good morning. This Monday morning, you're watching Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira, and here are this morning's headlines. Encounter still underway at Pathankot Air Base. Efforts on to neutralize 2 more terrorists. Attack on Indian consulate in Afghanistan. Unidentified number of terrorists engage security forces. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sushma Swaraj hold meetings in the wake of terror attacks. Security and diplomatic strategies discussed. Earthquake of moderate intensity strikes northeastern states adjoining Myanmar, Bangladesh and Bhutan. 4 people reportedly killed. And Saudi Arabia snaps diplomatic links with Iran. Move follows Iranian protests against execution of Shiite cleric. Our top focus on the bulletin this morning: an operation is still underway at Pathankot to neutralize the 2 terrorists who are still holed up at the Air Force Station since Saturday. Contrary to what was believed earlier, the air base continues to be at risk. 4 terrorists have been killed so far in the operation that has continued for over 2 days. Officials say that the operations will continue till the whole of the air base is cleared of intruders.
2 days after the terrorist attack on the Pathankot Air Base, intermittent blast and exchange of fire still being heard at the site. Officials said the operation is underway to neutralize 2 more terrorists. The operations are expected to continue till the entire airbase was cleared of intruders and terrorists.
The airfield cannot be declared fully sanitized till the time each and every place is checked and ascertained that there is nobody else anti-national element present there.
4 terrorists were killed and 7 soldiers lost their lives so far since Saturday. 17 people have also been injured. The 2 remaining terrorists are holed up in the forested area on the backside of the airbase from where they entered.
आज फिर रात भर ऑपरेशन चलता रहा और जो एनकाउंटर उसके बाद शुरू हुआ उस एनकाउंटर वो एनकाउंटर अभी भी चल रहा है, तो अभी बताया नहीं जा सकता कि खत्म हुआ है कि नहीं, उसमें कितने टेररिस्ट थे, तो ये अभी नहीं बताया जा सकता.
There were at least 2 more. They have been engaged since 12:20 and the operation is going on. They are limited to an area and we are very hopeful that by this evening, these 2 terrorists will also be neutralized.
One of the soldiers killed is the Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan of the National Security Guard's Bomb Disposal Squad. 3 others were injured when they were defusing the explosive material of a slain terrorist.
On one hand, I've lost him, but on the other hand, I don't know, he's made us feel proud, but then whatever it is, our loss is a great loss. Because when I feel these people, every year, they're losing their lives. I mean, you go to defuse a bomb and you don't know what's going to happen. And I mean, what risk they're taking.
In North Ambala city, parents mourned the death of Garud Commando Gursevak Singh.
हमारे कितने जवान हैं जो शहीद हो रहे हैं हर रोज. आर्मी के, एयरफोर्स के दिन पर दिन शहीद हो रहे हैं. मेरा बच्चा भी ठीक है, मैं दुख है मन, मेरा बच्चा देश के लिए शहीद होया.
Another soldier who was killed is 51-year-old Subedar Fateh Singh, who won gold and silver medals in the first Commonwealth Shooting Championships held in 1995. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, joining me on the phone line right now to tell us the latest about what's happening in Pathankot is journalist Sukhjinder Kumar. Sukhjinder ji, thank you for joining us on the program. लगातार शनिवार से ऑपरेशन चलता जा रहा है. अब की स्थिति क्या है वहाँ पे?
जी, फिलहाल जो है हेलीकॉप्टर से पूरी तरह सर्च ऑपरेशन किया जा रहा है और देखा जा रहा है कि आखिरकार आतंकी छुपे कहाँ बैठे हैं, लेकिन रुक रुक के हो रही गोलीबारी से ये जाए अब तक ये नहीं पता चल पा रहा है कि आखिरकार आतंकियों की कितनी गिनती और है. अगर बात करें एयरफोर्स कमांडिंग की, तो उन्होंने कल इस बात की पुष्टि की है कि अभी तक 4 आतंकवादियों को जो है वो मार गिराया जा चुका है और अभी भी जो है वो ऑपरेशन चल रहा है. और आगे जो है अपने जो आतंकवादियों की गिनती है वो अभी तक पता नहीं चल सकी है कि वो गिनती में है कितने हैं.
जी, और ऑफिशियल्स अभी क्या बता रहे हैं, कितना टाइम लगेगा इस ऑपरेशन को समाप्त करने में?
जी, इस बात की किसी तरह की उन्होंने कोई पुष्टि नहीं की है और उन्होंने कहा है कि ऑपरेशन चल रहा है और अभी कितनी देर चल सकता है इसके बारे में कुछ नहीं कहा है। और सबसे बड़ी बात जो अभी सामने आई है कि ये जो आतंकवादी हैं एयरफोर्स बेस कैंप का जो है दीवार फाड़ कर अंदर आए थे और इन्होंने सबसे पहले मेस पर हमला किया था। यहाँ पर मेस में काम कर रहे एक डीएससी के जवान ने एक आतंकी को मार गिराया था और उसके बाद जो है 3 आतंकियों को और मार गिराया गया था।
Ji, Sukhjinder ji, thank you so much for joining us on the phone line and putting things into perspective for us and bringing us up to date with the latest there with what's happening in Pathankot. Now, even as the Pathankot encounter is underway, Afghanistan security forces are currently battling gunmen near the Indian consulate in Mazar-e-Sharif since yesterday. Gunfire and rocket-propelled grenades rocked surrounding areas. 2 loud explosions were heard last night as the gunmen launched an attack from a house across the street from the consulate. The number of gunmen holed up is as yet unknown. Special forces units prepared an operation to clear the attackers, but no details were immediately available on casualties or damage. There was also no immediate claim of responsibility. The attackers had tried to enter the consulate, but when they failed, they shut themselves into a house across the street. Indian officials told Reuters that there were no reports of Indian casualties so far and it was not certain that the consulate itself was the target of the attack. Meanwhile, both the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj held high-level meetings relating to the attack in Pathankot. Soon after his return from a 2-day visit to Karnataka, Modi chaired a meeting of top officials including National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar. The meeting lasted for over 2 hours. Here's more.
On Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met top officials including National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar. Earlier, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar briefed Modi on the latest situation. Security was also beefed up in neighbouring states like Delhi.
दिल्ली पुलिस को जो भी एंटी टेररिस्ट मेजर्स लेने सारे मेजर्स लिए हैं, रेलवे स्टेशन पे भी लिए, मेट्रो स्टेशन भी लिए और सभी जगह सुरक्षा बढ़ा दी गई.
Also on Sunday, Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj met former foreign secretaries and envoys to Pakistan. The meeting held to discuss India's strategy concerning Pakistan was attended by retired High Commissioner to Pakistan TCA Raghavan, former Foreign Secretary Shyam Saran and Satinder Lamba and Shiv Shankar Menon among others. Details were not disclosed. Although the meeting was pre-scheduled, it acquired a fresh dimension after Saturday's attack in Pathankot.
इनका बहुत ही खतरनाक प्लान होगा, बट स्टिल वी आर प्राउड ऑन आवर एयर फोर्स एंड पंजाब पुलिस एंड आर्मी जिन्होंने इनको मार गिराया. और आगे भी यही है कि जब जब दुश्मन कोशिश करेगा हमारे पठानकोट हमारे देश पे कुछ अटैक करने की, तो हमें इतना यकीन हमारे आर्मी वालों के उनको मार गिराएंगे, तहस नहस कर देंगे.
Pakistan has already condemned the attack and said it wanted to continue to build on the goodwill created by impromptu meeting between Modi and Sharif last month. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, joining me on the phone line right now is retired Air Commodore Prashant Dikshit, who is a defence analyst. A very good morning, Air Commodore, and thank you for joining me on the program. You know, as far as the Pathankot attack itself is concerned, it's still underway. The operation to clear out these terrorists or neutralize them is still underway. But what kind of measures should India really take so as to ensure that such incidents do not take place again? And also, should India continue their ties with Pakistan, and should we continue engaging Pakistan with talks?
Morning. Let me answer the first question. Firstly, we never seem to be prepared, geared up to deal with such conditions which seem to loom up. The whole Pathankot thing, when it took place, one found that we were still running from pillar to post to find the exact position of the terrorists. And in fact, the battle within the Pathankot Air Base was not fought in an organized manner. But I don't wish to comment any more. Much has been said in the last 2 days. But the point is that portion of Punjab is a border portion, a border state, and such situation is likely to develop. Therefore, we must have a new and a fresh security plan for the region. And it should not be treated like other parts of the country. And second thing is, I think, that a structure needs to be created. which could engage in such activity. Now one found that the battle was being fought from New Delhi. That won't work because somebody has to be there in situation, some local commander who's marshalling all the forces and coordinating. If you recall, Frank, this is what we discussed the other day in your studios when we all had gathered. Now, at the same time, let's go back to examining what happened in Mazar-e-Sharif. One is not very certain that the attack in Pathankot and Mazar-e-Sharif are linked up so far. You or at least the news says so. But if it is so, then it appears to be the role of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, which is the common factor both in Mazar-e-Sharif and in Pathankot.
Indeed.
Now, the third issue is whether we continue with the talks with Pakistan. Well, strictly speaking, there is a time when we have to take this rather unpleasant decision that the terror and talks will have to go together. And this time, Pakistan's attitude seems to be a little different. What they have not been able to explain as to how the terrorists have come through the border, and we have not been able to, and they have not been able to stop it.
Indeed.
So
all right.
They cannot do that. That means they are not in control of their things in their own country. Then one would like to know who's in control.
Indeed.
Or does India, in a vicarious way, offer to assist them in sorting out their terrorist problems? But that is too far-fetched to consider.
Indeed, and that is for the time to come for us to realize and understand what exactly needs to be done. Thank you so much, Air Commodore, for joining us on the program and putting things into perspective for us. Meanwhile, of course, security agencies have pointed out the likely involvement of terrorist outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed behind the terrorist operation in Pathankot. The suspicion is now that the strikes could not have been executed without the knowledge of Pakistan's army intelligence complex. And this has in turn led to questions being asked by the opposition parties about the government's policy on Pakistan. The government is, however, defending its approach while praising the timely action of the security forces. Here's more.
शायद यदि इंटेलिजेंस इनपुट न रहा होता तो इससे भी बड़ा कहीं कोई हादसा हो सकता था।
राजनीतिक तौर पर भी असफल है और जो हमारा खुफिया तंत्र है, एनआईए है, वो भी फेल हुआ है। कल प्रधानमंत्री ऑपरेशन सफल होने पर बधाई दे चुके थे और ऑपरेशन अब तक जारी है। इससे बड़ी हमारी खुफिया असफलता का और क्या प्रतीक हो सकता है।
मोदी जी हाल में ही पाकिस्तान होकर आए हैं, उसके बाद भी पाकिस्तान से आए उग्रवादियों द्वारा इतना बड़ा आतंकी हमला हमारे फॉरवर्ड एयर बेस पर अपने आप में गहन चिंता का विषय है।
आतंकवाद को खत्म करने का बात तो हमारी पार्टी हर समय कहते आई और उसके लिए जो भी कदम सरकार को उठाना है वो उठाना चाहिए। और वो क्या कदम होंगे अगर बताना चाहती तो सरकार बताए, नहीं तो कुछ कदम उठाए ताकि नजर आए।
Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Well, 4 people were killed and 21 people injured as a major earthquake with a magnitude of 6.7 on the Richter scale rocked eastern and northeastern India this morning. The quake occurred at 4:35 a.m. at a depth of 17 kilometers below the ground. The epicenter was located in Tamenglong district of Manipur. Tremors were also felt in neighbouring Assam. The tremor was felt in the northeastern and eastern part of the country. The early morning tremor was also strongly felt in Myanmar and also in Bangladesh, where at least 24 people were injured in the capital, Dhaka.
Today morning, actually at 4:35, an earthquake of 6.7 magnitude has occurred in the Manipur, which was having epicenter in the northwest of the Imphal, which was having a depth of about 17 kilometers. And the intensity due to this earthquake will cause the moderate damage in the Manipur, some parts of Manipur, Assam, border area of the Manipur and Assam, and even Tripura and Nagaland.
Well, joining me on the phone line right now is Mr. P.R. Baidia, scientist at the Indian Met Department. Thank you so much, Mr. Baidia, for joining me on the program. You know, the earthquake itself, how much of magnitude was it really of, and what kind of damage can we see it causing? And next question, of course, is whether there'll be any aftershocks after such a heavy magnitude earthquake.
Yeah, as far as the damage is concerned, this has been categorized as a moderate earthquake. So in the epicentral area, there will be moderate type of damage may be there. And even there may be some slight damage may be there on the well-built buildings also, structure buildings. But poorly constructed buildings will be likely to damage much. And the intensity due to this earthquake was due to this magnitude 6.7. The intensity we have expected that in the epicenter region, it may be above 6 on the MMI scale.
Indeed. And as far as aftershocks are concerned, I mean, when we see an earthquake of such a magnitude, do we also see aftershocks along with it?
Yeah, aftershocks are normally, in general, actually, the aftershocks will be there. But in this, we have not yet observed any significant aftershocks after this activity. There may be very small earthquake may be there of the order of 2 to 3 magnitude, which is, of course, not detected by our network. But definitely there will be some aftershocks. But till now, no significant aftershock has been recorded.
All right, Mr. Baidia, we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us on the phone line there and putting things into perspective for us and sharing your views on that particular earthquake as well. Moving on now, the Delhi government is getting ready for the first true test of its anti-pollution initiative today. The first 2 days, of course, saw citizens largely obeying the rules, but with offices opening after the long weekend, public transport and also traffic enforcement is expected to come under pressure. Here's more.
After the success of the first 2 days, the Delhi government gearing up for the biggest test for its odd-even traffic plan on Monday. State Transport Minister Gopal Rai said all arrangements were in place in the government's effort to limit private cars and curb pollution in the city.
दिल्ली के अंदर DTC की जो बसें हैं, जो पहले टोटल 48 लाख लोगों को ये सेवाएं देती थी, ये कल 64 लाख लोगों को सेवाएं प्रदान करने की क्षमता के साथ सड़क पर उतरेंगी.
The metro is expected to carry 3.2 million commuters compared to 2.6 million passengers on a daily basis. 3,000 buses have been added to the fleet of DTC and about 200 teams of police personnel have been deployed to find errand drivers.
जितने सिविल डिफेंस के वॉलंटियर हैं, जितने ट्रैफिक पुलिस के लोग हैं, जिनके पास मोबाइल है, वो सारे लोगों को हम आज ऑर्डर हमने किया है कि सारे लोग वीडियो बनाएंगे, जिससे कि उन लोगों को बाद में हम ट्रैक कर सकें जो बार बार जो है इसको तोड़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. वीडियो कैमरा हम लोग कल फील्ड में उतरेगा, कुछ सीक्रेट भी होगा, खुफिया कैमरा भी लगा रहे हैं और कुछ ओपन कैमरा भी होगा.
The Delhi government says special arrangements have been made to catch the repeated offenders. Under the odd-even initiative, fuel-based private vehicles with odd and even numbers will run on alternate days. Even-numbered vehicles on even dates and odd-numbered on odd dates on a trial basis for a fortnight. Experts, however, say the rising pollution levels warrant a permanent ban on diesel cars, while campaigners are calling for steps like a parking cess and an annual tax on all cars. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, let's now take a look at the news and events lined up for the day in our segment, The Day Ahead. On the second day of his Assam tour, Home Minister Rajnath Singh will inspect the Sonahat border outpost on the Indo-Bangladesh border in Dhubri. He will also attend a public meeting at Bishkova in Dhubri district. On Sunday, the Home Minister assured the construction of a barbed wire fence along the Assam stretch of the Indo-Bangladesh border, and that will be completed by the end of 2016. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley will kick off his pre-budget talks with agriculture groups and trade unions today, followed by economists and industry on January 6th and the IT sector the next day. MOS for Finance Jayant Sinha, along with the Finance Secretary and other secretaries of the Finance Ministry, will also participate in the meeting. The budget will be presented on the last day of February. Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari and Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao will lay the foundation stone for expansion of a National Highway 163 at Warangal today. The NH 163 would be expanded to 4 lanes on about 99 kilometers. They would also inaugurate a major bridge built in Warangal district. It's time for another quick breather now, but much more lined up on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Tales that inspire, stories of social change. A salute to diversity, promoting public discourse. Events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries every Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 12:30 p.m. and Sunday at 1 p.m.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, Saudi Arabia is severing ties with Iran. It has recalled its diplomats from Tehran. Both countries have long been at odds, but Saudi Arabia's execution of cleric Nimr al-Nimr on Saturday kicked off a new round of sparring between them. Analysts say it could mark a dangerous shift in an already volatile region. Here's more.
An execution that first fueled sectarian protests and violence in the Middle East, now sparking a serious diplomatic rift. Saudi Arabia has broken off diplomatic ties with Iran after protesters stormed its embassy in Tehran, setting the building on fire. The demonstrations were a protest against the killing of prominent Shia Muslim cleric Sheikh Nimr al-Nimr. He was among 47 people who were executed on Saturday in Saudi Arabia after being convicted of terror-related offences. Al-Nimr was involved in anti-government protests that erupted in Saudi Arabia in the wake of the Arab Spring up to his arrest in 2012. Saudi Arabia is now recalling its diplomats from Tehran.
We are determined not to allow Iran to undermine our security. We are determined not to let Iran mobilize or create or establish terrorist cells in our country or in the countries of our allies.
Earlier, Iran summoned Saudi ambassador to condemn al-Nimr's execution, with Saudi Arabia objecting to Iran's condemnation. Later, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei compared Saudi Arabia to the Islamic State and warned the Sunni Muslim kingdom will face divine revenge for the execution.
دارای تعصب دینی، غیرت دینی، این رو انسان به قتل برسانه، شهید کنه این رو، این خب واقعا جنایت.
Iran and Saudi Arabia back opposing sides in the conflicts in Syria and Yemen. Relations between the countries have been strained over various issues in recent decades, including Iran's nuclear program and deaths of Iranians at the Hajj pilgrimage in 1987 and again in 2015. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, for some more international news, here's our wrap. In a fresh incident of violence in Israel, a soldier was injured by a gunman near the West Bank city of Hebron on Sunday. The wounded soldier was shifted to the hospital for medical treatment and a search is underway to nail the attackers. Meanwhile, funeral services of Israeli soldiers who were killed by a suspected Israeli Arab at a bar in central Tel Aviv earlier were held. Top leaders of Nepal's three major political parties, including Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, met with Madeshis in a bid to end the current political crisis in the country over the new constitution. They discussed issues relating to agitation by Madeshis like a border blockade and constitution amendment bill tabled in parliament. Turkish army tanks pounded Kurdish militants as part of a military campaign to push back the militant group in the country's southeast region. Locals reported that a woman died after a mortar strike on her house. The violence has plunged the predominantly Kurdish area into some of its worst violence since the 1990s, following the collapse of a 2-year ceasefire between the Kurdistan Workers' Party PKK and the state. Iraqi troops battled Islamic State fighters located in northern Ramadi on Saturday after the provincial capital was recaptured from the militants in a victory hailed as a turning point by the Iraqi government. According to the US-led coalition, about 700 IS fighters are suspected to be hiding in the center and the outskirts of Ramadi. Ramadi is the biggest and first city retaken by the Iraqis' army since it collapsed in the path of the militants' advance 18 months ago. Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena pledged land for up to 1 lakh people who have been living in camps 6 years after the end of Lanka's brutal ethnic war. The land will be given to build homes within 6 months, according to the government. Moving on to some sports news now. India won the South Asian Football Federation Cup title, defeating Afghanistan in the summit clash on Sunday. India's strikers JJ Lalpekwa and Sunil Chhetri scored in the 72nd minute and the 101st minute respectively to guide the hosts to their 7th SAF title. They defeated defending champions Afghanistan 2-1. India, who lost to Afghanistan in the final of the 2013 edition in Kathmandu, were clearly the better side in the final match, though they had to come from behind and settle the match in extra time. Here's a roundup of the other sports news in Sportsbeat. England all-rounder Ben Stokes hit the second fastest double century in Test history in a blistering assault on the South African bowlers on the second day of the second Test at Newlands on Saturday. Stokes slammed 258 and shared a 399-run partnership with Johnny Bairstow for the highest stand for the 6th wicket in Tests. He scored 130 runs before lunch, a Test record. The left-handed Stokes thrashed 34s and 11 sixes in a 197-ball innings. Rafael Nadal beat Milos Raonic 7-6, 6-3 to win the Mubadala World Tennis Championship in Abu Dhabi. It was the third time that Nadal won the exhibition tournament in the United Arab Emirates. The Spaniard, ranked 5th in the world, beat compatriot David Ferrer in the semi-finals. Chelsea beat Crystal Palace 3-0 in the Premier League to continue its resurgence under caretaker manager Gus Hiddink. An early match-ending injury to Eden Hazard didn't stop Chelsea romping to victory at rain-soaked Selhurst Park, with Oscar putting the champions ahead in the 29th minute before Willian with a long-range effort and Diego Costa scored in the second half. Chelsea has put up the worst title defence in Premier League history but is unbeaten in 4 games since Hiddink replaced the fired Jose Mourinho and climbed to the 14th spot with this win. The Blues are 10 points off 5th place Manchester United. That's it on this edition of The Breakfast News. Have a good day.